Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for the Online Conflict Management Platform Introduction and Brief Training for Brave Ones. I'm super excited that everybody is here and is getting the chance to see all of the exciting things that Brave is coming up with. During the live stream at any point, please send any questions through the live chat feature further down on the page, and Remy will be able to type the responses while I'm presenting as well. At this point, while we're waiting for people to sign on to the training session, please take a moment to follow our Brave YouTube account and get all the latest tutorials, tips, and updates about what is happening with the platform and in conflict management strategy techniques. We also have Facebook, Twitter, and a LinkedIn account that are constantly being updated with new information. Also, if you could please type in the online chat your name and where in the world you are coming from today, as it would be interesting to see where our global community is present today. We have a couple guest speakers joining us today, who is Sheila Sims, who is our Brave Shift Tribe leader, and a couple other ones as well. So we're just going to go on to the agenda to start with. So we'll go quickly through introductions, and then go through Brave's goals, values, and missions. Part 2 is the navigation of the online conflict management platform. And then we are going to be able to have Sheila and a couple other guest speakers talk about Brave. The third portion of this presentation is optional for individuals to watch. If you have already completed ADR training in the past and are qualified, the information presented today may be a little more repetitive from past education. This portion will be great information for individuals who are considering to become Brave Ones on this platform. So, introduction to Brave. Brave is an online conflict management platform which trains everybody in conflict management strategies. We train Brave Ones to have the power to facilitate and manage disagreements, who can then prevent or stop escalation of a disagreement. It is an opportunity for people to resolve conflicts from remote locations, such as global business transactions, and in certain circumstances where it ensures safety and safe environments, such as in domestic violence situations. Brave offers unique features on the platform, including instant messaging to individuals or groups in conflict. The conflicting parties can then apply those skills learned to help resolve the current conflict they are facing and take the skills forward to help them in the future. Brave offers face-to-face online chatting to facilitate conflict management in time of distress and provides skills that are applicable to everyday life to help prevent sharing, collaborative agreement creation and finalization. The Brave platform is a convenient alternative to conflict facilitation and has no pop-ups, advertisements, or interruptions when you are in a session or at any part during your Brave experience. As mentioned when we initially signed on to the live stream, please make sure that you follow our social media accounts and platforms. And please sign up for email updates with our Trimp Mail account for further information regarding training and certification that will be discussed later in this presentation. So, goals and missions of Brave. The goal is to promote mediation education, educating everybody in conflict management strategies that can be used in everyday life situations. Mediation over litigation is another goal, helping the world realize that litigation is not always the best answer for responding to a disagreement or a conflict. We also want to train anyone and everyone on how to become a Brave One. More goals include using the platform for sessions, teaching others about our expertise, and matching neutrals to clients. The mission of Brave. Brave is dedicated to providing youth and adult members with opportunities to gain experience and transferable practical conflict management skills while providing clients actual resolutions to their conflicts at a reasonable cost. This is done in a dual approach. Third parties can train to become certified Brave Ones and use their Brave database to select Brave Ones to remedy disputes with others. Most, if not all, employees of Brave will be trained in certified members who enrolled and graduate from our mediation training program and certification certification program and are interested in gaining work experience in alternative dispute resolution. The experienced members cultivate while participating in Brāv will assist them in making the transition from average to an effective conflict skill set, as well as school to work, allowing them to develop entrepreneurial skills that will be transferable to any job in the future. Why Brāv works. Statistics from surveys show that people are more committed to honoring an agreement when they work together on their own terms. Brāv ones are third neutral parties trained to facilitate discussions and work to balance power struggles. Brāv ones offer opinions when parties in dispute get stuck on a topic, and will often choose to redirect the conversation to keep the process moving toward an agreement that is both fair and mutual to the parties. Just like every other industry in the 21st century, Brāv believes that mediation should be leveraged on technology to meet the practical and financial needs of everyone around the world. So a quick introduction about myself before we dive deeper into this presentation. My name is Kate Lamoro, and I'm a Brāv expert and have been working alongside the premier of the company, Rami Ali, to provide insightful training on the online platform and conflict management techniques. I have recently completed my postgraduate in mediation and alternative dispute resolution and currently working towards my qualified mediator's designation with Alternative Dispute Resolution Institute of Ontario. In addition to this, I'm a Justice Studies graduate from Royal Roads University and a licensed paralegal with the Law Society of Upper Canada. At this point in time, I would also like to acknowledge Colin Rule of Mondria. He is a leader in the ODR field, and we are honored that he is here watching this presentation with us today. Thank you very much. So at this point in the presentation, I'm just going to quickly exit here and show you how to navigate through the online platform. So we're going to go to www.brāv.org, and we will do the signing up portion of this. So it's important to note that Brāv operates best on Google Chrome versus Safari applications or Explorer. So what you want to do is to click to become a Brāv one at the top right hand corner of the page, and then we'll select New to Brāv and sign up. So here it provides you with the list of options that you can choose to sign up with, and we will go further into details and the qualifications that you need to have under each of these later on in the presentation. But it's important to include your full legal name, your email address, and password. So here we'll just choose Brāv one, and we'll pretend that we all did it, and then I will just log in. Before you do that too, just ensure that you read over the terms and agreement and accept them. And once you've submitted that as well, it will take you a couple of minutes to get a confirmation code that will be sent to you through the email. Alright, so welcome to the home page. This is where you navigate the whole entire platform. Here you can edit your profile, create cases, create sessions, get on the online chat, and create agreements. So quickly, this button is your home icon and will take you to this page all the time. Here is your profile. So to quickly go through this is where your name will be. If your profile will be approved, you can put in your experience, your email address, the time zone that you're in, the fees that you would like to charge while you're mediating, or a Brāv one. Also, if you want to auto-accept mediation requests, that's an option as well. And the mandatory international insurance that you have to have before you can start doing that, before you can start managing conflicts on the platform. Dispute management in personal injury and workers' compensations are some of the areas that people can specialize with, but you can edit this in your profile to put them as to any section that you particularly work in or would like to work in. So to start the conflict facilitation process, you must first create a case. So this is in this section right here, and we will go to creating a new case, which is the file folder with the arrow. So here you will create the title of the case, and this is where all of your sessions, agreements will go into. So just, we'll put in demo training. Create case. Perfect. So that's the first step completed. So next we will go to new session. So here we will create the session title. So session number 1. Oh, sorry. And the link. So you want to link the case title, so which is what we previously just made there. So the demo training, and then so that's the file that everything's going into. Description of the session. So we could say that this is for demonstrating how this works. So introduction. And then here's where you will want to include all of the parties involved in the dispute. So I'm just going to put in a couple of my email addresses so that this will work. And then you press enter, and we'll do the same thing again. Oops, enter. And then also include the amount of hours that you think it will require to do this training session. And there we are, we've created it. So this will take you back to all sessions. And that's where we will do the session requests. Oh, hang on. So we'll just go to the one that's already up here. So sorry, just a moment here till I can find. There we are. So session number 1, the demo training, and there are the participants that I added. So we'll do view here, and it'll just show you this is where the payment comes in, and you accept the session. All parties have to do this, and then so you have to wait a payment for the evolving parties. So once that's done, then you're able to go to all sessions, and since I don't have payments through on this one, it's not going to show up, but easily you can go to, once everybody's paid, it will come up on this page, but we'll just use Tuesday test 1 as an example right now. So it'll have the same join option on the bottom there. And this is where the online chat comes through. So unfortunately at this point in time, we're not going to have an online chat, but there is a tutorial where there is an online chat, which is on our YouTube account that you can see, and it demonstrates takes you through step by step this exact same process. So once everybody's had the chance to be on the online chat, there are a couple features that you should know about, which is the online discussion. So this is where you can write down ground rules for the session, any important notes that you want to refer back to, those kinds of things. Also, with the camera, you can also, there'll be, with all the participants, you can click on an individual, and that will become the larger screen, and you can keep switching as people switch talking or takes turns talking. Perfect. So next, once that's done, you guys will hopefully have an agreement, and this is where the creation of the agreement can happen. So we'll go to the stack of papers here, and we'll do new agreement. Final agreement. We'll put the demo test. We'll do the same email addresses again. Create agreement. So we'll do start drafting. All right. So it's important to remember that and make sure that you specifically ask the parties if they prefer the agreement to be binding or non-binding agreement when you are creating this draft. You want to insert the relevant information to create the agreement and add the participant's email as well, which we already did. And so you start drafting from here. You can add custom boilerplate to this. So here's an example. General agreement and add. And you will accept this. And there you go, voila. You can add little custom snippets as well, which is the agreement. We'll just pick anyone here. So copy and paste. Just add all the details that you guys have agreed to. And once you've finalized the agreement, you can click this button right here, and it provides you a checklist of all the important information that is required to complete before you can finalize the document. So all parties intend to be bound are mentions a clear valid date, legal names of all the parties, terms of the agreement are definite and certain, mention the jurisdiction which you wish to follow. And we'll go into the jurisdiction issues a little bit later into this presentation. So you submit that, make sure, oh, sorry, I didn't check the list there. Perfect, submit, there we are. And so we'll say that's all ready to sign. Sign as accepted. Perfect. So now we can go to signed agreements. The test agreement there, it's been resolved. Perfect. So there is the final agreement and draft that you can send out at this point. So it's as simple as that. If you wish to learn more, we have a more in-depth tutorial on our account, as I had briefly mentioned. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to go onto the live chat as well, and Remy will be able to help you out there. So we're going to go back to the webinar and present from here. So we have Sheila Sims. She's the Brave Shift tribe leader, and I'm really excited to introduce her. She has some really exciting information to share about her role in this position and opportunities that are available for you guys as well. So I'm just going to start the audio clip here. And there we go.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Brave, and everyone for the warm welcome. So great to be with you all this afternoon. And as mentioned, my name is Sheila Sims, and I'm starting a new division for Brave called the Brave Shift. And in this division, we're going to focus on creating open conversations around conflict, as well as strengthening the relationships with all stakeholders to complement and further Brave's existing work to train anyone who wants to mediate conflict on their online platform as a Brave one, like all of you are doing today. So part of my role in the Brave Shift, I'll be sort of like a promoter of Brave. We're going to be fundraising for the new division because we have a lot of exciting programming and stuff that we want to offer. So if you're interested in supporting the new Brave Shift division from a financial perspective, or just even Brave in general, I would love to hear from you. So part of this whole Brave Shift is creating a greater awareness of Brave and Brave One training, and encouraging others to make the shift and to be part of the Brave Shift tribe. Yes, we're going to have a tribe of people. So people that have already been trained as Brave Ones will become part of the tribe. People that are interested in getting that training but are waiting. And even just people in general that want to support the overall community but maybe are not ready to take that Brave One shift, but they want to contribute by just supporting it financially as well as non-financially by just saying, hey, I agree with what Brave is doing. The other part is we're going to be producing some amazing events. So we're going to be creating open forums for conversations about conflict. Some of these events and stuff are going to be like Brave Shift moments, so quick 20-second, 30-second clips, maybe even from the streets, just going up to people and saying, hey, what kind of conflicts do you deal with, and getting their perspectives and stuff. Or they could be just even awesome things that the Brave team has thought of and that we just want to put out there to just even get you thinking about conflict differently and how you can resolve it. The other thing we're going to be doing is a podcast series. We're hoping to start it in September, as long as everything is in place then. And the podcast series is going to be looking at a number of topics. So anything from bullying in schools to domestic violence, to even like elder care and elder abuse that can sometimes happen, and even the abuse that can happen with some of the caregivers giving support to the elderly or even patients with health-related issues. We're also going to be talking about family issues, things that come up like divorce, child custody, situations that can cause a lot of conflict. And we want to bring in both sides and stuff that are on the different sides of conflict. So it can be, even if we look at bullying in the school, we want to bring in the bully. We want to bring in the victim. And we also want to even bring in the bystander. And we want to have an open conversation about kind of like their roles, what made them end up in those roles as bully, bystander, and victim, and how can we, through this open conversation, start to eliminate bullying in the schools. So that's just one example of how we want to bring in all parties, have an open discussion, and lead to the elimination of conflict. So again, Brave Shift Moments podcast series. We're going to do an annual conference. We're going to up our social media channels and even have one specifically for the Brave Shift. Lastly, I'm going to have sort of a representative and advocate role. So again, this goes into being the promoter of Brave and the Brave Shift. And I'll be attending conferences, events, workplaces, high schools, government events, anywhere where they'll let me in and let me talk about conflict, so that it's top of mind, seen as important, and that there's a growing awareness of how to eliminate it, right? So that there's even a growing awareness of how we can use technology and these great online platforms that Brave has developed to help mitigate and mediate conflict. And also, through all of this work and stuff of the Brave Shift division, we're going to establish Brave as a leader in the area of conflict elimination. So amazing things happening. So excited to be a part of it. Excited to be a part of the Brave One training this afternoon, and I know it's going to be beneficial to all of us. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or through Brave, and I'd be happy to speak with any of you further. So let's get on with the training and all become Brave Ones, and looking forward to what the future has to hold. Okay, take care. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for that, Sheila, and sharing all of that information. Next, we have a last-minute addition, Dr. Chris Smith-Mayer, and here is his audio recording that he sent for us to present today.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Christopher W. Smith-Meyer. Remy invited me to have a couple words with you about how Brāv is starting a new era in dispute resolution in the online world. Much like business was opened up in the 1980s when the internet became accessible to the average business person, the field of conflict resolution is opening up as more and more people have access to conflict resolution methodologies online. Brāv is creating a new paradigm shift in the field by bringing people together from around the world into a stronger dispute resolution community through their training programs. The more we work together, the better our field is, and the better our academic discipline will be. I suppose I should start off with an introduction for those of you who do not know me. As I said before, my name is Christopher Smith-Meyer. I am the owner and principal of Seven Swords Institute, a facilitation and consulting company that is working with Brāv to bring you high-quality education in the field of conflict resolution. I currently live in Pennsylvania, though I may be moving back south again to do some work with the Florida education system. I also teach as an adjunct professor for the University of South Florida in their online MBA program and for Penn State University in their online Bachelor's of Business Administration program. So I'm a big fan of online education as it brings people together who would never meet to be able to network over the internet. I believe the main reason that Remy reached out to me is my education. I hold my PhD in Conflict Analysis and Resolution from Nova Southeastern University, dual LLMs in International Business Transactions and Litigation and Dispute Resolution from the University of Queensland in Australia, my MBA in International Business, my JD, also with an international slant, my MA in Industrial and Labor Relations, my BS in Criminal Justice, and a graduate certificate in Qualitative Research Methodologies. In past careers, I was an adjunct professor for Florida Metropolitan University and the schools that had bought it out over the next couple years, a professional mediator since 2002, which is something that I still do from time to time, and the CFO of the Africa Peace and Conflict Network, a multinational NGO that brought people from Africa to the United States to study conflict resolution methodologies to take them back to areas of Africa where Westerners are not really welcome. I also managed an apartment building and worked as a laborer through college, though those really don't apply to what we're talking about today. Although I can say being a laborer is something that will teach you a lot about conflict resolution. The reason I'm in Pennsylvania is because both of my brothers had children about the same time, so I moved home to be closer to them, and as a conflict resolution professional, I have a pretty flexible schedule, so I can babysit and watch the kids. My niece and my nephew are probably the most important thing in my world right now. Well, enough about me. So why am I talking to you today? Remy asked me to develop a couple programs for Brāv looking at making your conflict resolution practices better. Anyone that feels that they're an expert mediator and does not have to learn more about the field is probably up for a rough awakening. I know some people who have been mediating since the 1960s who are still gobbling up every education course they can. Why? Because experience has taught them that if you sit on your laurels, you will quickly be passed by someone who is still learning. Thus, I created for Brāv the following short classes, which are about an hour to 2 hours each class. The first class is Writing a Better Settlement. Say what you mean and mean what you say. This is not a class on writing settlements. I assume as your mediators and conflict resolution professionals that whenever you guys have a mediated settlement agreement, you already know how to write that. This is on improving it, because there are a lot of things that we do, specifically in the United States, that make reading settlements difficult. This class helps you get rid of those problems so that your settlement is easily readable should it ever be needed in the future. The second class is Multicultural Mediation, lessons that I learned in Australia. This is a class about how to maintain the mediation process when you're negotiating between two different cultures. A lot of times you feel pressure to give into those cultures, especially if both of the parties are from the same culture. However, there are still rules for mediation and dispute resolution that you need to stick to, such as impartiality, neutrality, and, of course, not showing bias. So this is a class that covers how to meet in the middle in both of those worlds. The third class is using facilitative methods in your mediation practice. As some of you know, other countries use different models of mediation, whether it's settlement style, whether it's narrative style, whether it's facilitative style. I had the privilege of training in facilitative style and doing a couple mediations in that style while I was in Australia. And as a result, I designed a class to show some of the tools that you can take from facilitative style and use in your settlement style or narrative style mediations. As I said, each of these classes is between an hour and 2 in length and is designed to improve your ability to function in the ever-changing world of mediation. These classes will be offered via the Brāv platform over the next couple months, and as the Brāv family grows, the classes will be augmented with other classes and offered more often. Beyond the short classes, we are looking at developing certification classes in collaboration with my company, Seven Swords. While none of these classes has officially been decided upon, the top 2 candidates will be a business facilitation, which is a conflict prevention method that is exploding now as a field in the private sector, and a course on facilitative mediation, which is an advancement of the above-mentioned facilitative methods class. Both of these classes will be offered in either a 20 or 30-hour format, and at the end you'll be giving a certification saying that you are fully trained in these methodologies. The crowning jewels of the items that are currently on the drafting table are 2 networking opportunities that will give brave ones the chance to interact, meet colleagues whom they only know through the internet, and to pick up continuing education hours, such as CLEs, CMEs, and CBEs. One of these programs that we're working on planning is a cruise fundraiser for the nonprofit element of Brāv. This will give you the chance to interact with your peers in a relaxed environment where you're not beholden to any schedule and can come and go as you please to meet with other Brāv members. For those of you who like a little more structure, we have a program in the works that will be a 2-week-long site visit looking at ecological conflict and international business conflict, where you get to explore a country with other Brāv members. The program will be set up for summer next year and will be competitively priced for an opportunity of a lifetime. While we have not officially set up the program, I can give you a little hint. The people in this country say "g'day" a lot. Hopefully we have something more concrete set up for the next training, and we can give you the exciting details about these 2 programs. Well, that is an overview of what I'm doing to help Brāv be the dynamic leader in online dispute resolution training that they seem destined to be. The more the community interacts and develops into a standalone discipline, separate from the brick-and-mortar conflict resolution and legal communities, the more we will be able to dictate our own future and the future of the world. A peacemaker is always needed somewhere in the world, and the more of us that are out there, the more we can see peace grow. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Remy for letting me come and have a couple moments to speak with you today, and I hope to see you in the future in the classes that I will be teaching for them. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Thank you very much, Chris, for that information and about the upcoming training. And it's so great to hear different perspectives during these kind of presentations too, and what is going on in our community. Sorry, I've just got to escape here. Uh-oh. There we go. Perfect. Sorry about that. Computer just froze again. As it has again. Sorry about that. There we go. Perfect. Back on track. So, this is the part of the presentation where we're going to talk about what's in it for you and why you should sign up with Brāv. So, when deciding whether or not to become a Brāv one, it's important to consider all the benefits that come along with this title. When you learn to effectively manage and resolve conflicts with others, then more opportunities for successful team memberships are available to you, such as jobs and opportunities. This looks great on resumes and job applications. Everyone confronts conflict on a day-to-day regular basis. Being able to apply conflict management skills in your own life will allow for a personal improvement in your mental health and daily life. If you're interested in becoming an ADR professional and aren't already, then this is a great tool to test out the waters to see if conflict facilitation is right for you before investing into a full-time educational certificate program. Opportunity to help the unknown parties reach win-win agreements and teaching them the skills that will help with the resolution of future conflicts, but also being able to get paid for helping out. Another benefit of this is you can find your own clients through advertising yourself, which we'll go through a little marketing strategies a little bit later on, and you can find these clients on the Brāv platform itself. You can also set your own prices when facilitating a conflict on the platform. So that experienced professionals can charge a little bit more according to their specializations, etc. And then also it provides the opportunity for students and brave ones to get paid while they're learning. That's something I really wish that I had the opportunity to do while I was in school. So which one do you choose when you're signing up? So that takes you back to the navigation that we originally did. It's really important to know the difference between a brave one and a mediator. So brave ones are individuals who have no formal educational training. They are to complete and pass all training requirements, which is 40 hours on the Brāv platform in order to start managing conflicts on the platform. It is important to point out and remember that brave ones can only facilitate conflicts on the online platform and nowhere else. Brave ones are required to obtain errors and omission insurance as well as internet insurance. Mediators are individuals who have completed an associate's degree. Proof of the degree must be provided to Brāv and emailed to nextgenerationmediation@gmail.com. Mediators must follow the same insurance requirements as the brave ones. If the associate's degree is not completed in the field of ADR or related, a mediator must complete an exam to ensure competency, an additional 10 hours of training. In case of somebody who is wondering what internet insurance is, it is liability insurance that covers very specific wrongful acts such as failure to protect private or confidential information of others from unauthorized access or through the internet. Also, it's failure to prevent the transmission of a computer virus to authorized users of the website or any private communication networks such as customers, suppliers, and supporters on or through the internet. So the requirements for brave ones and mediators. So brave ones must undergo the training on the platform, which previously mentioned was 40 hours and additional testing. Excuse me for a moment. They receive a general certification, but they are not a mediator but may use it towards becoming one. They must undergo 5 online mediation sessions approved by Brāv, designation for use on work, school, and volunteer applications, and can only conduct sessions on the platform as previously mentioned as well. A mediator, Brāv one requirements waived if you are licensed or a certified mediator. You must have a requisite of 40 hours in mediation training but still need to complete 10 hours on Brāv training as well. Receive a specific emblem donating rank on general certification and generally can use the designation for mediation sessions on-site and online but must verify with the jurisdiction they wish to hold the sessions on their own. All of these training requirements can be completed from home, and if you do not already hold them, it should be noted that although anyone can train on the platform, not everyone may be approved, as this is an important professional work, and we want individuals to represent us well. Training hours can be completed through case studies, mock mediations, and question and answer quizzes. In addition, I know Remy had mentioned that there's the possibility of doing e-games too, which are continuously being developed with the community. There also is the option to complete one-on-one training, and to find out more pricing and details, please contact Remy at nextgenerationmediation@gmail.com. So, what are the kinds of conflicts that brave ones and mediators can facilitate on the platform? Brave ones can help in almost any situation to help peace or resolution to a conflict. It is important to know that there are some situations that you are advised not to take on the task of facilitating, such as a violent crime where criminal charges have been laid, or family conflicts that have a potential for domestic violence without approval of specialized training. Here's a brief list of the types of conflicts that are in your jurisdiction to help facilitate. Community and neighborhood issues, organizational and workplace conflicts, schoolyard squabbles, contractual disputes, human rights complaints, immigration and refugee issues, landlord and tenant, and veterans affairs. If you are unsure of a conflict that comes up, please contact Remy and she will provide guidance as whether the conflict is suitable or not for the platform. So, security of the platform. This is a huge importance for us. Confidentiality and privacy are very important. Any and all parties on the platform must provide government ID to prove their identity. Mediators and brave ones must ensure that they know any and all of the parties that are mediating. All parties must fill out applications and references. They have to ensure and agree that they are in an environment free of any and all third parties who would have the ability to witness or to overhear information exchanged in the session and on the platform. It is very important to explain to clients that it is illegal to use any information obtained during these sessions in the court of law or discuss any information with parties not within the session. Parties determine the jurisdiction to follow, as Brāv is simply a platform for global use. Parties are encouraged to only upload documents found in public records and nothing really private. Brāv currently has the recording session feature disabled, so there's no way that anybody can record a session at this point. Every user must agree to provide their complete legal name and appear amongst every other user during the session. If someone doesn't appear, you can't confirm that their identity, and that has a breach in the security. So, privacy versus confidentiality. Today, a lot of people use these words interchangeably, but there are some very significant differences between them that should be pointed out. Confidentiality refers to personal information shared with an attorney, physician, therapist, or other individual that generally cannot be divulged to third parties without express consent to that client. So mediators, brave ones, hold this ethical duty as well. Privacy refers to the freedom of intrusion into one's personal matters and personal information. So, the pricing structure for Brāv. The platform usage fee is the parties who are disputing's cost. So that doesn't come out of your pocket as a mediator or a brave one. So the certification fee is $100 US dollars, but that's to not include any of the training programs. That's just your examinations and those fees. So your subscription fee Subscription fee monthly is $250 US, but it's 6 months free with the payment plan. So this subscription fee is used to acquire clients, and you have the option to bring in your own existing clients, but if one wishes to obtain clients through this platform, the subscription is required. Brāv receives 20% of the mediation 20% of each mediation session. So those party costs, if they were to pay $100 for the session, then Brāv would get $20 of that. No refunds. There are no refunds for the webinars or training sessions that are done on the platform, and there is a $45 fee for a brave one or mediator who does not show up to the mediation. So things to remember while you're on the platform. It's really vital to be punctual, responsible, and accountable. Don't be late or miss a session. It's the 3 strikes and you're out policy. Your actions reflect the Brāv community, and we don't want tardiness. So, and then additionally, dress professionally, as it is a reflection of us as well. Always be impartial and never choose a side when you're on the platform. Be respectful and ensure that parties are being respectful to each other. Make it a safe and comfortable environment for all. Everything that is discussed on the platform is 100% confidential, and a breach of information will not be tolerated. The parties do not have to come to an agreement. That is the goal, but it is up to the parties to voluntarily make a settlement. You cannot offer any legal advice to the parties. You cannot be a witness in a legal proceeding if a settlement is not made. Your job is to facilitate a constructive communication between the parties so that they can create their own agreement. So what is online dispute resolution? Brāv is online dispute resolution. ODR uses technology to assist with negotiations, mediations, and arbitrations in some circumstances. ODR provides options and solutions for online disputants that are not available elsewhere. Some benefits include it being generally informal, flexible, and creative tool of dispute resolution which is not governed by strict rules of procedure and evidence. This may allow the parties to design and participate in a process which could be molded to suit their needs and encourage a consensual rather than adversarial approach. ODR may reduce litigation costs. This is of importance both to corporate parties and those who wish to keep costs down, and those who might not be able to afford the cost of litigation. The cost of the process or compensation given to the neutral evaluator is generally split equally by the parties, providing that all parties have an equal stake in the outcome and an equal sense of ownership. ODR may be the appropriate option, particular for low-cost, high-volume transaction, as it often allows for a timely, cost-effective, and efficient resolution to problems, where the amounts in the dispute may not be sufficiently high to justify the cost of a meeting-based negotiation. ODR also allows for more cost-efficient resolution of disputes where there is significant geographic distance between the parties and the amount in dispute may preclude the cost of travel. ODR may be appropriate where there are sensitivities between the parties that may become worse by being in the same room, such as matrimonial disputes. ODR may allow for the participation of parties who could not otherwise attend in person due to a severe disability. ODR is a confidential, unless agreed by otherwise process. The process is appropriate when confidentiality is considered important and necessary to the parties, and which is often the case. Parties utilizing dispute resolution mechanisms usually do so on the basis so that they can discuss matters freely in the expectation that they will not be disclosed neither publicly or in a court. Conducting mediations wholly online provides the mediator with an opportunity to significantly expand their marketplace. So, going into the issue of jurisdiction of mediation online. This is a major question that pops up all the time. Since there's no geographical boundaries, how are you supposed to make a binding agreement? The actual terms of the agreement that the parties come up with can be as broad or as specific as parties desire, particularly if the matter is conducted at the negotiation or mediation phase. The enforceability of the settlement agreement may depend upon the rules or jurisdiction of the ODR provider, particularly if the dispute is international. ODR does not need to be tied to a precedent or jurisdiction. ODR solutions work the way the internet works, distributed, customized, and scalable. So what are some tips for ODR? The biggest one is always being prepared before you go into the session. Ensure that you are fully aware of how the online platform works before starting a mediation. You have to make sure that your clients are prepared for the session as well, and have them do a test run of the platform to ensure that they understand how to sign on before the day of the mediation. Take them through step by step of the process and walk through the platform to ensure they are comfortable with it as well. Set up the same framework as a regular mediation by setting the table and ensuring that they've gone through the process. Set the ground rules to participate by, ensure that participants are voluntarily involved in the process, and stress those confidentiality and privacy issues. So marketing yourself is a brave one. This is a huge opportunity for people. Promoting Promote to potential clients that you can make an agreement with before a conflict occurs. So if you see something happen that you know that's just going to explode, there's your opportunity. Make regular videos and blogs on your YouTube account giving tips on conflict management strategies. Stuff goes viral, or videos go viral every single day. And there's simple concepts that people don't necessarily understand, but they think it's brilliant and it's shared, and you're a celebrity. Solicit clients the old way by using snail mail and tell them about this amazing opportunity and how they can save money in so many aspects of their life. Go to your local courts and request the daily dockets or a list of new cases filed each day, and reach out with your credentials and citing an alternative to litigation is online mediation with Brāv. Often, when major publications are writing articles, they look for quotes. Brāv can send you time-sensitive requests that you can answer with the potential of getting quoted by Forbes, The Washington Post, and more. Please email Remy again for more information regarding these publications. There is no guarantee that clients will choose a particular mediator or Brāv one. Therefore, you have to market widely and get yourself known. It is important to remember that this is a global opportunity, and that when you're sleepless at 3 a.m. in the morning, someone on the other side of the world is going to be having a conflict of some sort. Why not help them through it? It's an opportunity to make money while you're assisting others and making a positive impact. So at this point of the presentation, I'm going to go into the conflict management strategies. So this is where I'd mentioned at the beginning that anybody who has conducted online mediation, who has conducted or been through ADR training, this is your opportunity to kind of sign off. And I really appreciate you guys being here and listening to the presentation and our guest speakers. But this is more for the brave ones who are interested in getting involved with ADR and learning some techniques. Perfect. So, conflict management strategies. The first and most important question to discuss is, what is conflict? My definition of conflict can be defined as a struggle or a contest between people with opposing needs, ideas, beliefs, values, or goals. What's your definition of conflict? I'd be more than happy to see responses in the online chat if anybody wants to discuss that at all. I'll go on to the next slide, but I'll return to it after so that it gives a little bit of people time to go through and add their contribution. There are thousands of definitions of conflict, and everybody will have a different answer, but it's important to know that none of them are wrong. Did you know that $359 billion is spent dealing with workplace conflicts in the United States alone? These costs include time off work, stress leave, litigation costs, and union grievances. These are just some of the direct and indirect costs of conflicts employers see. Brāv has the answer to significantly reducing this number and all people to be happy in their workplace. That answer is you, by helping getting the discussion started. People spend most of their lives working, so why shouldn't it be one of the happiest and safest place for everybody to be and not be a hostile environment? So I'm just going to check if anybody's added a definition. So just take me a moment there. Disagreement or difference with energy behind it. Don't see eye to eye, misunderstandings, and saying the same thing with different thought patterns. Yeah, absolutely. Those are all great definitions. Thank you for you guys for contributing. So it's important to know the dispute resolution spectrums. So there's three: power-based, rights-based, and interest-based. Power-based is when a person in authority takes command and makes the decision in the conflict. There are two power-based dispute resolution processes: unilateral action, where one person in the dispute decides, or an authoritative command, where an authority figure such as a boss or supervisor makes a decision. Relying on power-based processes to resolve conflicts, like in the workplace, are almost always produce unjust outcomes and at the same time make the conflict worse than it already was. The second base is rights-based, which is the approach we are most familiar with and that we see in our judicial systems. These processes rely on evidence-based methods of fact-finding to determine whether the allegations made by the complainant is true. In adjudication, the court or tribunal determines what legal consequences should follow. Another form of rights-based dispute resolution is arbitration, where a private, confidential, neutral third party hears the conflict and makes a final binding decision that cannot be appealed. Unlike in adjudication, the parties can choose their decision maker when they choose arbitration. Finally, we have the interest-based approaches, which look deeper into the conflict and search for the interests of all the parties. Negotiation and mediation are the two approaches that reflect this approach. Mediation is the process where a third neutral party helps facilitate communication between the parties so that they can understand each other's situation and make a settlement or agreement that best suits the both of them. Brāv is an interest-based conflict management platform. The parties hold all the power when it comes to making a decision or a settlement, and we want them to leave with the win-win feeling. Brāv's platform has the capacity to hold arbitrations as well, but it is out of the jurisdiction for Brāv ones. Arbitrators require outside training and expertise in a certain area. So the forms of mediation. There's evaluative, facilitative, and transformative. Evaluative mediation is a process modeled on settlement conferences held by judges. Evaluative mediation assists the party in reaching resolution by pointing out the weaknesses in their case and predicting what a judge or jury would likely do if it were to go to court. This platform is not to be used by Brāv ones. This alters the unbiased factor in mediations on the platform. Somebody who conducts an evaluative mediations are specifically trained in certain areas and have a great deal of experience. Facilitated mediation. In this approach, the mediator structures a process to assist the parties in reaching a mutually agreeable resolution. The mediator asks questions, validates, and normalizes parties' points of views, searches for the interests underneath the positions taken by the parties, and assists the parties in finding and analyzing options for resolution. The facilitative mediator does not make recommendations to the party, give his or her own advice or opinion as to the outcome of the case, or predict what the court will do in a case. The mediator is in charge of the process, while the parties are in charge of the outcome. Transformative mediation. Mediators who allow the transformative approach aim to foster in the disputing parties in a greater sense of their own efficiency as well as a greater openness to others. Disputes are viewed as opportunities for moral growth and transformation, rather than just solving the problem. Two goals of transformative mediation is empowerment and recognition. Empowerment involves the strengthening of the individual's ability to reflect, make choices, and act in a conflict situation. Recognition means becoming more sympathetic and responsive to the other person's situation. Parties achieve this recognition in mediation when they are able to feel less threatened and more open to the other party. So it's important when you're getting into EDR to know the difference between interests and positions. So a position is what a party wants, and interest is why the party wants what they do. So we'll go into positional and principled negotiations. So positional is what the party wants. So the individual or group is persistent in the stand that they take. They are bargaining on that position and not on their interests. They are usually unwilling to listen to other parties' requests or suggestions. This is the job of the Brāv one to help the positional bargainer become a more principled bargainer through communicating. So that positional burger just keeps digging his heels in every single time somebody tries to convince him to go over to the other. Principled negotiation, interest-based negotiation. You are not bargaining over the positions. You are separating the people from the problem, focusing on the interests, inventing and brainstorming options for mutual gain, and then using objective criteria to choose a win-win option for both parties. So I have a quick little exercise here, which is identifying the statement as a position or an interest. So the first one, the statement is, you are being extremely difficult. Is that a position or an interest, and how come? I'll read through a couple of these actually, because I know that the process is a little bit delayed on the live chat. So we'll read through them, and then, so the next one is, I feel hurt by your insult. Is that an interest or a position? I want to bring the groceries in from the car. Depending on others makes me uncomfortable. Cut your grass, or I'm going to call city bylaw. All right. So I see that Amy, Sheila, there we go, and Amy even said it's because it's stating an opinion, and that's exactly what the first one was. Great job. So the second one being, I feel hurt by your insult, was an interest because you're expressing a feeling about an action. There you go. I want you to bring the groceries in from the car. That's a position because it's a specific request or demand to take action. Amy's on the ball. Depending on others makes me feel uncomfortable. That is also an interest, as it is a fear of losing control over the situation. Cut your grass, or I'm going to call the city bylaw. That's also a position because it's demand for action or else. So why is it important to know the difference between a position and an interest? Does anybody have a response to that? All right. So it's important to know the difference between a position and an interest because of the bargaining situations, as I had previously told. If somebody's stuck in a position, you're not going to get anywhere. Once you know their interests, you can uncover all the information surrounding that problem. And that's the grounds that all that extra information is what gets you to the resolution. Exactly. You guys are awesome with these answers. Perfect. So on to the next one. How do people typically respond to conflict? We learn our conflict management responses from our surroundings and experiences. So our family, coworkers, environments, etc. The two psychological responses that our body has is flight, get away, and fight, take on anyone in my way. Neither of these responses are bad, as it is variant on the situation each person is in. The important thing to remember is that we should initially choose our response and not act without consideration. Thomas Kilmann has a theory of responses to conflict, and it puts 5 behaviors onto a scale of cooperativeness to uncooperative and assertiveness to passive. So that's just many of you probably are familiar with this concept too, but for anybody who is unfamiliar, that's the chart that you can use to rate the behaviors. So accommodating, it's giving the opposite side exactly what they want. So being the doormat. It's high on cooperativeness and low on assertiveness, so you don't get anything that you want. Avoiding is ignoring the situation altogether and putting the blinders on. Low on cooperativeness and assertiveness. Collaborating is integrating ideas together and producing solutions that are acceptable to all. High on cooperativeness and assertiveness. That's the goal. Both parties compromising is when both parties usually end up giving up a component of their bargaining. Middle of both assertiveness and cooperativeness. Competing is the bulldog approach of I will win this all at all costs. It's high assertiveness and low cooperativeness, and you do not care about the relationship you have with the other party. There are right and wrong times to use each of these responses to a conflict. When the competing mode is times when the competing mode is appropriate is when there are quick actions that need to be taken, when unpopular decisions need to be made, and when vital issues must be handled, or when someone is protecting their self-interest. Many times people will avoid conflicts out of fear of engaging in a conflict or because they do not have confidence in their conflict management skills. But hopefully we can build those up with the Brāv training. Times when the avoiding mode is appropriate is when you have issues with low importance, to reduce tensions, or to buy some time, or when you're in a position of lower bargaining power. Times when accommodating mode is appropriate is to show reasonableness, develop performance, create goodwill, or keep peace. Some people use accommodating mode when the issue or outcome is of low importance to them. Times when collaborative mode is appropriate is when the conflict is important to the people who are constructing an integrative solution and when issues are important to compromise, merging those perspectives and gaining commitment when improving a relationship and learning. So why are conflict management strategies important in different situations? You have to consider the factors when choosing an approach to conflict management strategy, such as time, the importance of the issue, relationship importance, and the power that each party has. Collaboration is a time-consuming process, so it may not be suitable in an emergency situation, as mentioned before. Avoiding may be the best option if you do not have a relationship or wish to have a relationship with the person you are in a conflict with. Compromising is the most used response in business negotiations, since it's such as situations in customer service where you give some and you lose some. Competing is a time-saving strategy in places such as workplace management when things need to be done quickly, and it also protects your self-interest. Collaboration is our goal at Brāv. It's to ensure that everyone is being cooperative and has the power to assert their position and needs, reaching that win-win solution. For people new to ADR, or to alternative dispute resolution, and ODR, here are some tips on how you can improve your conflict resolution skills. It's called reflective practices. Journaling is so important because each time you have a mediation, you're able to write down and reflect on what did I do well during this? What can I improve about myself next time? And then going back and reading that after you've done another mediation and seeing if you've changed or what you did to make yourself better. Being open to new information about your practice, which is allowing constructive criticism, maybe having a co-mediator with you and having them tell you what you did good and what you did wrong as well. They see a different perspective than you did. And continuing to self-study and do professional development, so doing these Brāv training courses on areas that you're not overly familiar with. Knowledge is key. So the key to acquiring confidence and competence is doing these self-reflective practices and getting better and better. As Dr. Christopher said as well, if you think you know everything, you really don't. So we've got a couple good giveaways for anybody who is still watching the presentation. So if you share the training video by July 10th and enter into a draw, you'll be entered into a draw to win a subscription to Brāv for free for a set amount of months. If you have 10 friends sign up for the training, they'll receive a 25% discount on exams. If you attended the online training today, have your name in a raffle for a free Brāv t-shirt, and that'll be announced after this presentation on the Brāv comments below. Not directly after, but shortly after. So make sure that you put your name on the live chat and an email that we can possibly contact you with, and we really appreciate you spending your time with us here today. Our global world needs people like you to be brave and help our communities in creating resolution and peace. Just going to keep drilling this into everybody's head as well. It's so important to follow us. As we continue our mission in conflict management, please follow our YouTube page, our Facebook account, Twitter, email, updates. You will receive updates as we continue to expand. And contact us about a free test drive of the conflict management platform too. We truly, truly appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And there's the email address that I kept repeating about contacting Remy with if you had any questions. Please leave any comments and questions in the live chat or in the comments section of the video as well. Choose to be brave and tell everybody you know. We want this to go global. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you staying and listening to me. This is my first online presentation before and live stream, so if I was a little nervous, I'm sorry. Have a good day, guys. Thank you.